Welcome back, everyone. Unity take their second win in just 4 games. 1 on Sanok, 1 on Erangel, and I said they might be in first place. Pretty sure they'll be there. I'm pretty confident they'll be sitting in first place coming into the final 2 games of the day.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying how hard it is in how stacked this lobby is, how hard it is to be a team that's consistent, a team that's always in the high placement points. Less so on kills, obviously. Like if you have a bad game, you just get a couple kills, you're still going to work your way up. But a team that's won 2 in 4, I mean, that's almost unheard of at this level.
It is. They did, I mean, I kind of want to say they had circles going in their favor, but really only had 1. But it was also, as we talked about after the game, it was also that 1 circle they really, really needed. Because in order for them to get away, they needed all the other teams to fight, and they just timed it perfectly.
Yeah, it's sort of that circle 5, circle 6 area where that's the circle that generally causes so many fights, particularly in duos. We see the numbers often drop from like 40 to around 20 in those sort of circles. And that was the exact moment where they got just the perfect shift that just kept them in the shooting range, able to sort of survive the sort of deluge of kills in the kill feed. Yeah. And then from there was so much real estate left open by all those gunfights.
Yeah, because I mean, had it gone north earlier, more teams would have come there, and then it would have been impossible for anyone to leave. Had it gone south earlier, no one would have had to fight each other. They could just sit down and hold them out, and then, well, then obviously, as I was expecting, they would have been dead. Because I even said during cast, just call it quits and leave the game. No, we're gonna go out and win it with 9 kills. Okay, fair enough. Sorry.
I was looking at it like this is a game they try and salvage like 5-6 points.
Decent
but it turned that's pretty much perfect. So
yeah.
It was insane how well they did on that game. But I was quite impressed as well by Crowcrowd. How many fights they took and how many fights they won was something that, particularly at this level, as we keep saying, is very difficult to do.
That's what it goes into, right? Because when you have 9 kills, I mean, a lot of it was solos, but think of how many individual engagements, how many times you've had to fully reset, said, good, how do we engage this? What do we do here? And then come out of it, not only come out of it live, but come out with it with both your players up. And I don't think I saw any. I think I saw Orange No get knocked once that game.
It was
they just stayed alive the entire game. That is a really difficult thing to do.
I don't know how they did it, but I mean, to put it into perspective, we were looking at in this 3 kills, 4 kills. That's a good game in duos. Yeah. And they got 9. I mean, there's a massive number. I think it's actually one of the highest games we've seen, because we've seen, I think, double digits twice or 3 times across, what is it now, nearly 100 games of duos. That's how rare it is and how close they got to that. Despite the fact that all their gunfights really happened at the end, it's just mightily impressive.
Yeah, they had 4 kills come into the last couple of fights. But now let's see. 19 points, of course, for the Unity duo, and then you have X Team's duo just underneath 7 kills, all of them by X Team himself. Very, very impressive game there. Crowcrowd, as you said, 6 kills on their part, double-digit points as well. We almost have 4 teams in double digits. I think the highest that I've seen is 3, but it does mean, of course, that the more top-heavy it is, the less points you'll have on the bottom side of things. A lot of teams with that 1 kill eliminated afterwards. It's gonna start hurting if some of these top teams keep racking up points.
Yeah, particularly Liquid down to 30th in this game at 0 points.
I mean, it might as well have been
Any Crowders.
25th.
Yeah, Any Crowders, one of our, I think they came 4th in an EU pro. And once again, down 0 points.
I mean, Liquid won that one, right? And Unity now, they had 6 kills over the first 3 games. Now they just added 150% of that. Yeah, exactly. So pretty damn decent performance by them, securing themselves a first spot so far. Right now sitting with an 8-point gap down to second, but as you said, very, very CIS heavy top, and it sure as hell is.
I mean, that is ridiculous. I mean, if you look at international, like global tournaments, look at PEL, it's actually dominated by EU, and I think that's because there's sort of a, like, mechanical skill of CIS is very well known to be absolutely insane, but often we see the sort of the macro play, the strategy is sort of well known on the more structured teams like Liquid, like FaZe. And in this, where kills are what pushes you, your ability in gunfights, that's what wins you tournaments in duos.
So what you say is EU is the brain and CIS is the brawn?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why FaZe has done so well, because they've taken the CIS brawn.
They just need more CIS player in Western teams. That's what it is.
There we go.
Yeah, we gotta learn the Russians English or the CIS English, or we gotta learn all the French and Scandinavian players to speak some Russian. I think they might know a couple of words in Russian, but probably not the ones probably not the ones that they need in order to be an efficient team.
Stream.
No, exactly. I mean, in all fairness, I mean, having played with a lot of different people over the time, of course, just for fun games, but pings and pins and whatnot you can do in the game now even more so gets you a long way. And there, here, go. I mean, go is pretty. Davai is pretty pretty universal. You can
push.
Oh, if you do that, 6. Oh no, just off.
Yeah, but there's one thing as well we see. I think that is a nasty circle.
That's an interesting one. That's not like it.
Nasty in the player's sense. Absolutely beautiful for people like me who love chaos. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, can we got sort of a southern central shift? Just to prolong that melee circle 2-3 circles in and just scare everyone? I'd love to see that.
Ooh, Miracle gone down. That's interesting. Coldman's able to find a kill with the UMP early on. That's up in South George. The M19, the NIP team was actually never really contested in or around South George during the group stages. So it's kind of interesting to see that Colton Mintz and Quick now go up in that area. They
I can't remember where were they dropping hospital?
It must have been because they didn't get where they would normally have gone. Because
Oh, they dropped by ferry last
Yeah,
game.
they used to be down on ferry, and now you can see it's like fully CIS out to the max, and I think they just like, nope, ain't gonna happen.
We saw those 3 CIS teams, the same 3 that were there last game, that were sort of forced together because Razor Edge dropped in the compound that Edelweiss and Fabric right now. And it looks like Razor Edge have just decided that they're not interested in losing a player early. They're not interested in just getting shot out of a vehicle on rotation. Exactly. So they've gone somewhere where, South Georgia is a place you can very easily share.
That's a corpse of a Finnish person right there. Misa gone down, lost now by himself. Boyukai able to find the kill. And I went down early last game, so with a kill coming in early from the brother, that's might be able to pull them through and get themselves a good, decent game in this one. Boyukai, as many other solos, fell victim to the X team handling. I think just off of killing people, I think 4 of his 7 kills, the last 4 he had, was all on solo players.
Yeah,
and you essentially get double the amount of points when you get those kills in the late game.
I think we saw him pick off all the people that were surviving that sort of plane fight.
Yeah, exactly.
There was like a 4-way fight. All solos survived, and then he just walked straight into X team and just killed them all.
Yeah.
And then he took out the last player from Barcode, and then I think another one from the north. He was going mad at the end, picking off players left, right, and center.
Finding those solo kills, grinding himself some kills and some placement points with it too. Pretty damn decent. Managing to make that work. Now these circles are interesting for multiple reasons. We talked about it a little earlier as well, with how the water doesn't get shifted away from in phase 4. Even with that in mind, it could still pretty easily go military. I
would love to see that.
I don't think teams will bank on it just yet. They'll probably get down around the compounds and farm and on the western side just to prep for. What if? You want to be around if you have to move over. And the thing is, we're playing on esports mode, and there are only 2 boats between the bridges. Between the 2 bridges, you only have 2 boats, and it's really not a lot when you have 32 teams, of which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 27 would have to cross. Yeah,
I'm looking at this. I'm thinking the shark fin compound we call. So if you look at the eastern bridge, the compound to the west, where you have the little peninsula sticking out, it's what we call shark fin. That's where one of those hard spawn boats is.
That's right.
And it looks like the Turkish duo are going to go straight for it. So that's the compound that in this circle particularly is immensely strong. Normally it's a place that you sort of go to as a last resort, but this time, because of the boat, because of the fact that we don't have the water shift, being on that coast, having the vehicle is instrumental to your success. But they're going to leave it. Of course they are.
I was going to say, I might actually want to push it around and just take the next one. So they take. Imagine
why not
one duo take 2 boats across. That would be absolutely toxic and not very kind at all. Like the reverse Robin Hood, essentially. Not very generous by any means.
Yeah. I'm surprised we haven't seen people sort of beeline for the bridges and control the sort of the gas station and the glass house on either side.
I think glass station, that's the combination. Gas station on the east side is extremely isolated. So even if you sit there and you can get a kill or 2, first of all, by shooting, teams will know you're there. Second of all, whenever you try to leave, should the circle go north, or even if it does go south, you most likely won't have an easy transit anyway.
And we also talk about how instrumental being in the circle on sort of phase 3, phase 4 is. And if you're one of the... That was nasty bites, Chris. I was just going to commentate over it because I was so sure he wasn't going to get that kill. And he just rips him out of the server. He's going to get the kill as well because Record's nowhere near.
Yeah, Mika did go down, not able to get rest. Unfortunately, Ubika, though, slaughtered to say the least. And Record, actually, as you can see, pushing up and over, wanting to take this fight. 2x once again. 2x's, and then some more 2x's. Everyone, even on the Khan 98. NBS does go down too. Might want to reconsider whether they want to stick around in George Ball anymore. They will go from one ratio edge duo straight into another and find themselves eliminated.
Put the 2Xs together, you get a 4X.
Oh, or 2X binocular.
One on each eye. They've just got both guns out, one hand each. Just sniping and shooting with the M4 at the same time.
Team sat on the roof, trying to see if he can do some damage up towards that is Menax on 60. Trying to see if he can do some damage up towards them, but opted to jump down. You can see they're split once again, and it really is what we talked about before. Teams won't know. Just because you only have one guy shooting, they will have no clue whether you're solo or doing this.
Well, James might get in a bit of a sticky situation here as the G2 duo are actually pushing up. Well, he spotted them luckily, I think he hears the shots.
He can't see them.
He can hear the shots, so he should be okay. But they actually got a kill onto Menox. And I think James pushed up to try and sort of look for the knock, try and flush it out, and then almost got caught in the back. But he just about saw it in time, just about recognised the danger he was in, backed off, and I think Ibiza should be able to join him. But once again, they're going for a split.
It makes perfect sense. No one's going to try and contest them. We haven't really seen any, I mean, especially late game is one thing, because, I mean, teams will do what they have to do to stay alive and get inside the circle. But early game, and I think that's exactly why we see Liquid do it both now and also when they play squads, teams just rarely ever super duper hard commit to crashing compounds early game, and especially not if they're getting shot at. So for Ibiza and Jeans, we'll take up some more real estate, and then you kind of get the buffet of, well, I mean, of compounds in terms of where you want to go once next circle shifts.
Yeah, but teams have the sort of the specific place they really like. The compound they always like to go to. We see on Miramar, just to the north of Monte Nuevo, there's the so-called phase compound. But you look at it like in this circle, there are so many positions that are just as strong as each other, and that's why we don't see people crash. Because you could stay on the potato where the reciprocity are. You can go south where G2 are. You can go west where Raise Your Edge are. They're all just as strong, so there's no real need to crash any of those compounds.
That is not where you want to flip a vehicle, do anything of the sort. Just as I say that, Rip, no,
He's gonna go off.
Oh, that was that was like taken out from a James Bond movie with the theme coming in right after that happened. Holy moly, that could have gone wrong in so many ways, and it might actually still be able to. Orange nose zooms in with the red dot, but not able to find the kill. That was scary. It should have been in slow motion too.
That's a fully Italian job ending right there.
Wow. You needed like the front wheels to stick out over, and then comes some buff guy to come drag the car back and save the blonde girl. Still some water in the circle.
They're not going south.
It's not going. I mean,
It could still go south.
I don't want to jinx anything, but technically we could still land down by.
Imagine if it centers on orange and then goes south, just to screw with everyone. But there's no bridges in the circle. There's no way across bar those two boats.
It could, not very well, but there's a chance.
I mean, it's possible, which is something that can't be said for any other tournament I've seen in the last 2 years.
Exactly. Tap. He heard the vehicle, I think, come up from up on the hillside, so he doesn't have the exact eyes on DB. And now X Team crossing over as well. Oh, 60 down. James does manage to find him. Tried to crash the compound, and 60 would have none of it. Yeah. Oh, they find him too. X Team gone down. Such a good play on the last game. Unfortunately, not able to get a whole lot done this time around. Now DB just immediately dips out. There's nope. I don't know where you guys are. I'm not gonna try and find you either.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where if you knew where both of them are, maybe you commit, try and grab one kill, maybe go for the 1v2.
He did have his car right with him, though.
A, he has the car there. B, he only knows where one of them is. The other guy could be flanking. So hops in the car, drives off, hopes for the best.
He wasn't.
I think he might actually be able to get in as well. Yeah.
Might just get going. Look at how many teams. I mean, there's literally not a playable spot in this circle. There are plenty, but they're all taking the
yeah. You're gonna have to go take it off.
And the ones that are available, talk about Sharkfin and others, they're just surrounded by other teams that you can't get to set up. Nick, great headshot coming in towards Timmy there. Noki, last one alive there. Oh no, Test finds Rax. I mean, there's people everywhere. Don't rotate too much.
I thought Rax was just driving south across the bridge there for a second, but it looks like Art's positions actually sort of scared them away.
Yeah.
And they were able to get the ambush as Rax came south. So that's a free kill. One was just not interested. He's going to go to the other bridge. He's off.
Not to find Stevie as well. So that's going to be X Team's team eliminated. Got themselves second place last game with a lot of kills, but this time around, nothing. And I think that goes to show how, I mean, even though you can win games and whatnot, how damn difficult it is to be consistent in a tournament format like this. And, well, show right there. 7 kills, second place, 1 game. Big fat 0 the next.
That's a very disappointing crate that we've just seen there.
Well, that's why they left.
It grows it with no attachments in the crate. Like no scope, not even attack stock.
I think the level 3 gear itself is pretty...
That is normally the best thing in the crate.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think Buster and Krabic, they seemingly didn't really care. Or maybe they just didn't see it. I think it's probably the latter more than the former. James and Ibiza still split up in their compounds. I would assume, no matter where the next circle goes, they will get together then. Because I think once you hit circle 3 and around there, even if it does go towards them, you have to start anticipating the teams will start eyeballing those compounds. And maybe notice that, I only see one car, not that much movement. There shouldn't be one guy there.
I'm looking at this circle, and that center is getting very congested. We've got 2 teams sharing the potato hill.
Any hard shift now will just...
One team on the south. There's going to be a slaughter. If it goes anywhere other than center, even if it goes center, all these teams on the edge are going to be in such a tough spot.
Do you think it's Paige and Ivel who told T-Bone and... Or do you think it's T-Bone and Vasco who told Paige and Ivel to play this circle from the south?
Oh, yeah, we saw
because that's exactly what they did and won the game off of it.
But I think it was slightly more favourable circle than it is this time. They were right on the edge.
Well, we'll see if it keeps being favourable or not. Nope, hard shift north, the complete opposite. And I would strongly assume to see James, yep, he's already in his car, leave and get over to his beast as fast as he could. Because one thing is, we have a teammate safe there already. Yes, but how are you going to get there? And I can see now James actually shooting up over the hill towards Buster. Does tag him up once as well. I don't think it's... Well, I mean, you don't want to get the kills, but... That's what you would consider.
He's actually to take the Wizard Tower. I kind of like that. I mean, it'd be in a sort of scary position where those people that aren't in the zone have to make some like Hail Mary rotations and maybe crash him. But he's in a position where he can actually cover the west and the northern side. Oh, cool. So Ibby only really needs to watch one side of the compound.
Welcome to Nate's, where you nade each other. You throw one, I throw one, we get a nug each. Unfortunately, Quick was found by Genso as well, so that's going to be the double. Out, Barcode Brothers eliminated as well. The Gaxi and Silas both gone out. Crack to find the kill this time around. And now Kemba. Alongside Bestadog trying to get up the hill. Take out the former group. Got the groupie logo. Good old days.
It's been a while since I've seen it. And Pokemon is putting it on the kill feed. Kemba goes down very quickly there. And our Bestlosh in a tough spot. But Paige and Ivor are actually pushing up from the west.
It kind of reminds you of the Riot Games logo. The groupie logo with the red text and like the fist kind of thing. Kind of reminds you of the Riot logo, but not quite the same thing. Bestluck does get down, as you said. Paige and Ivel are pushing over that, but Ivel actually got a knock on towards the Dufnik. That's from behind. Important one too, because them having knowledge of the teams outside the circle, A, they can now hold them off, and also B, if they try to push in, they will always have that eye in the back.
Yeah, but you're looking at where the zone's gone. They need to, A, work through the east and also protect their back. So if they can take out Sadovnik and Edelweiss fairly quickly, who will get forced out by the zone in about 10 seconds, if they can get those kills, they can turn around and they can safely take that 2v2 without being worried about being stabbed in the back.
They're on a vehicle now, though, so they probably have to cross. So I think what they're looking to go to is towards Noki and that newly added trench military-type precision outpost. There, I would strongly assume that's just what they crashed, because they can't really go around it. That's the main issue. You cannot really do a whole lot to avoid that situation. I don't think that's actually a place you can solidly drive through there.
I think in the middle you sort of can, but like you have to go so slowly and like weave your way.
They're spinning out now.
I think they just dive straight in the middle and hope for the best.
Just go straight forward, find yourself a spot that's inside the circle, and hope that you can make your way up the hill later. Test spots out one. That's Comfort gone down, and Aaliyah now forced to turn around. They were not expecting any more people on their side of the circle.
Yeah, the CIS have been one duo that's been pretty consistent so far. They did quite well as well in the group stages, and they've come into this as sort of one of the strongest CIS duos, and they're proving it right now. I mean, every game so far, I've seen them get at least a couple kills. Not necessarily get to the placement points, but they look really good in gunfights.
That's a tag right there. Leah forced to fall back, trying to get healed on up, but Test and Art, they're pushing forward full speeds ahead. And now Circle, West once more. It's going to be a potato or a downhill ending towards the, either Buster and Kravik or James and Ibiza's compounds.
Yeah, this is where James and Ibby need to decide, do we want to keep the duo split? You know, do we want to go up to James? Do we want to get back to Ibby? Because the Wizard Tower's great, but now all these teams on the south have nowhere to go. I'm looking at Ira and Kai, I'm looking at Snoopy and Diaz. Like, where do they go bar crash that compound? Yeah,
I think Ibiza just forward. You can see what they're doing. I mean, it's working out to perfection. Ibiza aggresses so massively on trying to push down from... he even ran out of the compound to get the knock-on towards one of them. Didn't get it. But that made them think, okay, that's not going to happen. Then they've already taken damage, so whenever they get to James and they still get shot at, either they would just hard crash in, or just go nope, and they did. I mean, it worked out really well, but I would assume for Ibiza to try and play the northern side once this circle is all the way shrunk in, so that he can help James better should something happen. Because if he stays on the south side in the one-story house, he really won't have any impact on fights going on north.
And luckily for them, those duos that I was talking about that are getting very scary for the Liquid duo have actually decided mostly to go west or east.
Everyone's going.
Yeah, Ira and BK both go down in short order, but actually Snoopy and Diz is sort of heading in that direction.
Sample over the top, tried to find out one, but not gonna happen. Completely whiffs the spray. He had a low player and a knocked player. Couldn't find either of them. Fortunately, Melon could.
Yeah, but they've got another duo coming in for the third party. M19 White, one of our winners from, I believe, Game 3, looking to push their way into a late game here. And if they can clear out this eastern side, they've got pretty much free reign to work across the dirt road.
It's bouncing forward. That one's going to go off in the air. Unfortunately, no knocks coming in. That one's a little off too. Scooby, does he spot example? I don't think he did.
And once again, the bait smokes worked out perfectly there. They threw the smokes to the side, all the nades went in the smoke, and then he's chilled next to it, and we're perfectly fine.
Let's see, Page Nival. They're still alive on the outside of the circle, though, and they have quite a few teams to deal with. Trying to move their way forward. So Edelweiss does go down as well, so that's 7 out, and we're still short of placement points. Think of how much crap all these teams have been through to get to where they are now, and we're still 4 teams out of placement points.
Yeah, imagine if you're one of those teams as well with 0 kills. You get to like 20 minutes of the game, and then no points.
No points. Might as well just have dived and died immediately. Scoopy and... I think Scoopy is trying to reposition right now, and I think they kind of come to realize that they just can't risk sitting out there. It is phase 4. Once it connects, we saw it with teams last game as well. Once it's connected, I mean, even now, actually, if you get knocked in the blue, you cannot get back up on your feet unless if you're right next to the wall. So I think that's what he's doing. Go close to the circle, stay here, so that if he does get knocked, Hellscream will have a chance to 1v2 and get the rest himself.
And with where Hellscream is, they can get so much information from the sound of footsteps, the sound of any shots that may be put out before either of the Tornado players make any sound. Actually, the first kill's going to come in now. Hellscream grabs it onto Melman, and now it's all up to Example.
See, Scoopy trying to push on over, get some info. Hellscream is being shot at from behind. I would assume that's, that's a piece of shooting up the hill. They have eyes on literally all fights going on right now.
No, but Example's stuck in the blue. He's actually falling down the hill.
Ow!
Slapped by Greg.
Greg, that's a neck shot right there. Pokemon all the way down to low HP. Battling. Oh, he spots him as well. Now he might want to swap over to an AR, though. I would strongly assume that Battling wants to shoot back at you at some point, trying to throw smokes all over the place. Secure his teammate's resurrection, but that nade should finish him off, and indeed it does.
The second one should blow up the car. So Battling, he's just about got away in time. That was a bit of a nervy moment for Battling, but he's going to get back to the tree behind. He's actually got the car, so he might be able to sort of get around Tornado Energy Pride there and hold him out of the circle. Maybe if he can just about get up the hill. There's like a really nice spot with a rock that you can take over, and anyone trying to push up that southwest is in such a tough spot.
He's going to drive straight into loss. That's what's going to happen. Oh no, he goes underneath? Okay. Where are you going, Battling? He's just trying to get us into position.
That's where the plateau is.
He's going full M19 at GLL Season 2 style. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him this time around. Groupie is eliminated. Ibiza still trying to hold off the guys on the east. Snoopy and D's now trying to push up. And, well, getting whatever leftovers Hellscream and Snoopy left behind. They come pushing in towards this one as well. And they've done some damage, I think, up towards DA just before. And that's kind of pretty useful. We see James actually pushed out of the Wizard Tower as well, trying to hold off the eastern side. They want to make sure that no one come in on their side, because if they do have to push north, none of those players will move. They will just wait for EB and James to push up, so they want to take them out now while there's some room to maneuver.
Finally, DA been found in this shack, and it should be pretty easy wipe for M19 here. Metrali's already down. There's no utility though, so they have to do it straight up, which no one likes doing in PUBG at the minute. It's always nades. Always just lobbing it in the window. If you've got a Molotov, stick it in there. But for now, that's okay. Oh, he's got a Molotov. Yep. Did he miss? He missed.
He actually Molotoved himself.
Missed. Oh no.
That's not it. That's not how you want to do it. Hellscream, literally screaming as he was on fire. Fortunately, able to stay alive. As I say that, D is finds him from the side, so the failed Molotov becomes the death of him. And Mert, Somehow, he's still alive.
he's got his Molotov repellent on.
Oh, no.
It's working
Laser
perfectly.
sight. Love it.
Oh, the 2x. Can he hit a shot? Nope.
Where,
No, he can't.
Teaserin? Hello?
Rough.
Did you...
We've seen a lot of talk about the Mini being better than the SLR.
Oh, that's...
Is this
yeah.
conclusive evidence?
No. It's conclusive evidence that Teaserin whiffed massively. Now he hits him.
I think it was actually Mert, wasn't it?
Might have been. It might have been Mert tagging him up. Teaserin...
It's Diaz from the south.
Yeah, Wanderer does find here Hirosin and Greg on the western side. It's going to give them some more room, but they haven't seen Nuki just yet. Now they have. Wanderer down immediately. Stab needs to retaliate as fast as he can. Circle's gone against them as well, so they got to push forward and move the way in towards the circle. Diaz and Snoopy pushing up as well. Stab. Ooh, Nuki found both of them.
Yeah, once again, like last game, he's snaking. Once again, he's getting kills. Once again, he's in the placement points. Can he turn this into another 6-7, another top 5 as well, and have back-to-back pretty decent games for Crowcloud? I'm looking at this circle, and I'm thinking he can.
Only time will tell. He does have a pretty rough push forward. Oh,
everyone's missing grenades. What's going on? But Mert does go down in the end.
You would think that when you have so many nades available in the game that you would know how to throw them by now, but...
Well, the line is notoriously inaccurate. I will give them that. Like, if you take one step, the line just gets really confused and doesn't know if it's supposed to be going up or down. Talking of down, see you later.
Nos Eliminato out in 9th place he goes. Ebi trying to see if he can get eyes on Buster. He knows he's down there. I think he might have popped the tires in the car even too. Now he sees the smoke bloom as well. Pretty good indicator that there should indeed be a player down around that area. Did Buster get baited by a crate? Is that why he went down there? No, it's not. I thought it was actually right on top of him.
Yeah, I love the way that Liquid are playing this in the end. They kept that split for ages, and James was just pivoting around Ibiza every time, moving to the edge where they knew that they needed to hold up players. They knew that there was players on the east, so James left the Wizard Tower, run to the east, held them out, and they all got forced north. They all got forced into those gunfights that we've just seen come all over. And now that they know that's clear, James went back to the west, prevented anyone from pushing up the hill towards him. Very ow. And Ibiza comes to join him in the Wizard Tower there. He's actually moved slightly east. So once again, they're sort of keeping this 1-1, keeping this real estate control that has been working so well for them so far, particularly in the league, which they actually won. So it's obviously working out.
There's one word that I feel like we've heard more lately than confidence, because confidence is the word that has been mentioned. Yeah, it's just always been confidence. Confidence. The word that surpassed that in a good way is proactiveness. You gotta stay proactive all the time, and that's exactly like prime example is what James and Ibiza are doing. Never be a stale target, never be easy to predict, always move around. Lust doing exactly just that. Pushed out, found Snoopy. Now he might be able to take down Shiv as well with that. Nope, not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's a skill we see in games like CSGO, where reading your opponents and preempting them is so strong. And it's sort of a skill that is A, undervalued, and B, underdeveloped, I think, in PUBG. And now that people are starting to be able to read sort of the meta of circles, read where people should be, we see teams like Liquid where they have these splits and they're able to sort of predict where people will be based off tendencies that they've seen, particularly like just by reviewing VODs. They can use that to start taking these splits, start taking control, and start preventing anyone else from getting their map control. Talking of map control, they are the only duo in the circle at the minute.
Yeah.
With a little caveat of Buster on the edge, on the west.
Imagine having a Sipnix in PUBG. He would like outbrain people such a... I guess the thing that makes it easier on Counter-Strike is the fact that you only have 4 opponents. I mean, at 5, obviously, if it's a full team. But when it's those late-game situations, odds are that they have lost some players too. So it does make it a little easier that you only have to calculate X amount of opponents as opposed to, well, now it would have been 7 or 8. But usually it's more.
And there's also the point
a little more factors.
Like, you're playing against the same people for like 3-4 hours in CSGO. In this, you've got an entire lobby to do. So if you are trying to preempt things, you're looking at metas, you're looking at tendencies of the entire lobby, not necessarily what one team would do. And it's something that is where you see like a coach or an analyst. That's where they come into their prime nowadays.
Exactly. Shift does find one. That's going to be the elimination of Flammenkuchen on the northern side. I thought they had a pretty decent position to push in towards this one, but didn't really work out for them. Loss, he's been chilling in the center for quite a while. Loss, I believe he lost Misa as the first player gone down the entire game, and now he's secured a top 4 placement for the team. That's pretty damn impressive.
And Any Crowders were a duo, we said just before this game, where they were 4th in EU, and they've just not had a good start. But this could be the turnaround. If Loss can turn this into a top 3, top 2, get those at least 5 placement points. With the kills he's already got, they're going to be shooting up that leaderboard.
Exactly. Well, I mean, he is within 5 placement points already, and I believe they have 2 or 3 kills. Oh, that's a good headshot. James takes down Krabik. Wasn't able to get the level 3 helmet on fast enough. That's unfortunate. Now Buster. I don't think there's any point in trying to get a res up here.
I think was it Ibiza that landed the headshot there. Once again, the split just denied any cover to Crab there. Like Crab peeks left, gets smacked by Ibiza in the face. So he goes back into cover, and suddenly James is just there, like, "Hello there," and grabs the free knock. Buster he might be able to get it if he has smokes. James is a little bit too far away, but it does look like they're going to flush out the kill with the bit of a crossfire that they've set up. The on-flayed onto CIS duo in the southwest, and now it's a 2v1v1v1.
Yeah.
So you have to make Liquid favorites.
Can Liquid cross? I mean, can James cross over though? I mean, they're really lucky that. No, he didn't see. I mean, the fact of the matter that Lars and Shiv have both been fighting up here, and none of them really dare look down because they really want to deal with whoever is next to them first. I think that's what's keeping at least James alive right now. Because he has, as you saw right there, had Lars seen him, he was really, really open and exposed to Lars. It's just the fact that these guys, neither of them want to focus away because they know there's a guy right next door.
Yeah, unfortunately for Lars, his priority is the player on the north. He might have actually got a kill or two, and maybe even an extra placement point just by looking south.
Is that the mutant's fault?
Yes. Okay. That gun is horrific.
Okay, we'll blame it on the mutant, Buster.
It's always the mutant. Always the mutant.
It's the gun's fault when players massively potato. They are on Potato Hill, so I guess you get -10 aim for having endgame here, right?
Yeah, they're just filling up fulfilling the name, rather.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm looking at this, and if Ibiza can maybe wrap a little bit further east, once they clear out Buster here,
nope,
he's gone. See you later.
Did not see him, but James should
The
be able to
bamboozle.
get an angle. I mean, the circle's closing in, and that smoke, or where the smoke was, is going to be out real soon. So he'll just have the call to James that. Yep, there he goes. He's been spotted.
He should be good though. I think he's going to be fine. Yeah, he's on the trees in the circle. Well, he's not in the circle yet, actually, so he needs to move still. But I mean, James also needs to move. We see him wrapping back towards the east because there's a little ridge just to the north of the Wizard Tower that they can use to protect themselves from the guys on the top of the hill. So that's why we see him sort of slowly move back. But every time he sort of steps 5 meters, turns around, looks towards Buster.
There's Lars.
We're talking Buster. Loss is the one to grab the kill.
He was waiting for him for a while. All the shots came towards him, and now Shiv. Well, 2 nades available. Nope. Opts not to throw the nade. Maybe you want to keep him for later, and you can see James and Ibiza on the south side. They're just waiting.
Oh, Shiv is shooting.
Yeah, I think Shiv saw the tag from south, and that should be Buster. It goes up short. They have all the info now, James and Ibiza, and they're playing a passive because they want this fight to end first, and it does end. Shiv now 1v2. They know exactly where he is. Literally down to the exact tree. So how the hell do you win this 1v2?
And the big problem for Shiv is that they are dead center. So he's the one that needs to move. He has that utility. He is starting to make a bit of a smoke wall. And if he can isolate 1v1s, there's a potential. But he needs to find one of them quick. He needs to turn it into a 1v1 with full HP. And maybe if he's got some utility. But I'm looking at the utility of the Liquid duo. And he's in a massive disadvantage.
James has a nade in hand, throws it forward. Of course, it is a little difficult for nades upstairs. Uphill, they don't go as far.
He might catch James with a nade out. Oh, not quite. Yeah, I thought if you'd peeked there, maybe you could have got the free knock, because obviously you can't shoot when you've got a nade in your hand. But it doesn't quite come in. So, I mean, I'm looking at this, and it's fully Liquid's game to lose, but they might be losing it.
Oh, Shiv, can you turn this one around? Gets the knock onto one, jumps into the smoke, but I think Ibiza just saw him. It's going to spot him out. Both of them tagged up a little bit, but Shiv is lower. Ibiza tries to force him out, but gets caught with the Molo in hand, and now he's the one lower HP. 14 left for him. Shiv, can he do it? Yes, he does! James and Ibiza played this one to perfection throughout the game, but Shiv would take away the win from them. What a hell of a one-man performance right there.
7 kills. And Monkey had nothing to do with this game. Shiv on his own, 17 points.
Wow.
Easy as you like. That was perfect. An absolutely perfect 1v2. He used the smoke wall to move position. From there, he isolated the 2 1v1s, took out James, and then knew exactly where Ibiza was, able to change his position up with the use of his smokes that he put down earlier. And then the initial tags put Ibby in such a terrified position where he couldn't peek, because if he peeks, he just gets one shot. But if he doesn't peek, reposition, peeks, dead.
The question is, did EB die because we've gotten too accustomed to nade usage?
I mean, I don't know why.
He swapped over to the Molotov, which I didn't really understand. I mean, you'd think 1v1, you know what tree's behind, just hold the angle, wait for him to peek, and he'll die. I like the idea that he threw it because he wanted to force him away from that only, like literally the only cover that he had. But I feel like it would have been the exact same situation for him to just hold the angle and shoot.
I mean, the way I see it, rule number one, if you're in a 1v1, don't get a nade out. Because if at any point you get surprised by someone peeking, you cannot do anything about it. If you have your gun out, even if someone gets a jump on you, if a snake sort of stands up and starts spraying you, you at least have a chance to respond. But if you have a nade in your hand, there is nothing you can do. And we saw, I think he lost like 60 HP when he peeked with the Molotov.
Also, you can say they don't want to have I mean, at least not with trees. Because the idea of a nade is that you can lob it over something. So if you're sitting behind a rock, you can kind of throw it and then peek. Then it makes sense because you already know what tree is behind, so you can kind of pinpoint the direction. But with the tree, you're forced to expose yourself when throwing the nade. And as we see, him taking his hand out and leaning to the right, his hand is exposed before he can even see where Shiv is. So taking a lot of damage there. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out for him. And once Team started pushing up on the left side, I thought it was game over. But Shiv managed to prove us wrong. Great game there. There's one more left for the EU teams to play today, guys. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.